Just hanging out.
I think my controller's on cruise control. I'm not even hitting buttons.
Dude, it's not for me. Hey everyone, I'm Brit.
And I'm Dale.
Welcome back to another episode of A Toast to the Atypical. We have a good one tonight. Dale's going to be talking to you guys, leading the way. But before we get into that, we will start off with our thank yous. Thank you to all the listeners, subscribers. We appreciate you guys. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you can get a podcast, with the exception of Apple.
For now, which I actually am going to change. I goofed something up with that. I thought there was like a subscription-based thing on the upload side.
Yeah, I didn't think there was.
And there's not, I was told. So we will be figuring that out shortly and getting out on Apple as well.
Yep, so feel free to share with anybody you think might like it. We also have the Buy Us a Coffee link, so feel free to jump in there if you have something you want us to try, a drink idea, or if you just like what you're hearing and want to send something our way. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll send you a coaster. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think that's it. You want to jump in?
Yeah, so our drink tonight. Oh, well, no. So also a big thank you and a shout out to our friends over the river. So if you're new to our podcast, we are from Pennsylvania, and we there's a podcast called Conspiracy Happy Hour, which is run by Allie and Dan, and we've kind of followed them. They've followed us on Instagram, and we've kind of talked back and forth a couple times, but they just recently invited us to do one of their
Like a
after hours,
happy hour.
virtual after hours happy hour, which was really fun. Played games with them, got to know them a little bit and some of their listeners. So that was really cool. So I really appreciate the invitation, Allie and Dan. I don't know if you're listening to this one,
thank you
so much. And if you guys haven't checked out the Conspiracy Happy Hour, go check them out. They do a really good job. So with that, on to our drink selection tonight, which I'm going to warn you. I brought over backup drinks because I have a feeling this is going to be disgusting. But
Oh, God. Last episode was nasty, too.
I know. And this wasn't last episode a whiskey drink?
I don't remember. Well, was it last episode or the one before?
I don't know.
One of them was horrible.
The Kurt
and
Cobain
couldn't.
one. So that was.
I couldn't.
Yeah, we're
bad.
on episode 24.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Two more, and we'll be at the 6-month mark.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well, minus 1 week. We missed a week. We're awful people. For Disney, we missed a week.
Yeah, but we also did like an extra episode the 1 week.
You're
so
right.
we're at it
Okay.
evened out.
Okay, you're right. You're right.
I usually am.
Yeah, well, as I've mentioned in the past, you were when you said yes to me. That's all that counts, right?
I didn't actually say the word yes.
No?
No.
What'd you say? Meh?
I believe
Let me see the ring first.
No, I believe I said absolutely.
Oh, well, there you go. There's a yes in there somewhere. So this drink is called the Los Angeles, and we will get to the reasoning momentarily. Well, you already know it from the title, but we're gonna build suspense. Come on, let's pretend you didn't read the title. All right, so this drink has in it. Let me jump over the Los Angeles. It has lemon juice, simple syrup, rye whiskey, sweet vermouth, and honey liqueur. It also has 1 whole egg in it, which I opted out of putting in there because I don't like liquid chickens in my alcohol. So.
An egg is not a liquid chicken.
Kind of.
It's not.
I know, but let's just.
It's not.
Just calm down with your technicalities over there.
It's not a technicality. It's a fucking fact.
When they poop it out, it's out of a chicken. So.
They don't poop it out either. Christ.
Where do babies come from?
Oh God.
Oh, hold
almighty.
on. I gotta put on our drink cam.
Lord help me.
I actually I got a compliment on our drink cam on the last episode, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And again, it's mainly so you guys can just watch me
spill shit.
Shit. Oh my God, I have to pour it with my left hand too. So.
Friggin'.
All right, the color's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah, because there's not a whole ass egg in there.
The last
If
episode
you're
looked like
somebody
straight
who-
up shit. This looks...
If you're someone who drinks a cocktail that has an egg or egg white in it, I have a lot of questions. Please comment or message us or something, because I need to know, like,
how bad
have
is the salmonella?
like, do you shit your brains out after? Are you puking? But do you taste the egg? Because, like, that's fucking weird. I need to know, because I'm not going to try it.
I feel like a raw egg can't taste like much. I don't know. I don't think egg tastes like much. It smells like a fart.
I can't handle it. I can't
love
tell.
eggs.
I can't take the smell, and I can't take the texture.
I love eggs. Thank God they're so
I like my eggs
right
in
now.
friggin' cookies and cake, and that's about it.
Yeah, thank God they're so affordable right now.
Yeah, right. I told you we're fucking painting potatoes this year for Easter. I ain't dying of fucking eggs. They're too expensive. I can't afford it.
Right? Yeah.
This shit is wild, man.
It is.
3 years into a global pandemic, and we can't afford fucking eggs.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Well, there's theories for another episode there. All right, so let's get into this. Let's taste this Los Angeles and see where this goes.
Do we want to toast anything specific?
To whatever occurred in Los Angeles at the time of February 24th, 1942. Those involved in that. And let's just hope that this drink doesn't taste like the urine that it looks like.
If your urine looks like that,
is that a problem?
Drink water.
Do I have kidney problems?
Yeah, no, you're dehydrated as fuck. Your pee should look
smell bad.
Your pee should look like weak lemonade, not like fucking apple juice.
Okay.
That's my PSA. Drink water. Also, if you have a headache, it's probably dehydration. Drink water.
You're gonna hate that.
No, I don't.
Really?
Really?
Wow. I actually like it a lot. That's like a really light tasting whiskey drink.
So this tastes like that lemon oh my god, what the hell did I have?
Oh, that mixed drink that we have?
Yeah.
Target special. It was like a
No, not the lemon sour that I had the other night. No. That tasted like a liquid lemon head. That shit was fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll have 50 of those. This kind of reminds me of that lemon whiskey.
Lynchburg lemonade?
Maybe? Is that
the Jack Daniels lemonade?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that is it.
It was good. It's good stuff.
No, I had like a honey lemon. I don't remember where we were out somewhere and I had one and I don't remember where we were, but it was fantastic.
I remember that now. I do. I don't know what it was though.
You know what? It might have been the night that we went to see that Fleetwood Mac cover band.
Could have been.
And I think that was one of the 2 drinks that I ordered that night. It was really good. It was when we went to see Tusk. If you haven't seen them, check them out. They put on a great show.
Yeah. If you're a Fleetwood Mac fan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you're not, it's still a good time.
Indeed. All right,
I mean, you ended up knowing a lot more than you thought you were going to.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a lot of stuff that you were like, oh, I didn't realize this was them.
Yeah,
so.
good old Fleetwood.
I feel like you always do that.
Always.
Every time I try to convince you, like, you know this band. You're like, I'm telling you, I don't.
I don't know who they are.
And then we, like, listen to them, and you're like, oh, I didn't know this was them. I didn't know that was them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, tonight,
today, this morning, whenever you're listening.
Yeah, I don't
know. For us, it's night, as always.
For us, it's night, and it's the end of the week, and my God, what a fucking week
it's been a shit show.
I hope all of you had a fantastic week, and I hope this starts your week in a fantastic way. And
hopefully this is the start of a better week for this household, because
Jesus Christ.
We have been in the trenches. Shit. I mean, you more so than I, but
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have had one kid who had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off for President's Day, in-service days, and who the hell knows what else.
Yeah.
And then the other one
Same days
same
off.
days off. Well, no, he didn't have Friday off.
Oh, right. He didn't have Friday
So
off.
he didn't have Friday off.
Had Monday
he
off.
had Monday off, and then they usually don't go to daycare on Tuesdays anyway. But Wednesday went to daycare first half of the day. We got a phone call around like 2 to come pick him up because he had a fever. He was in rough shape, was like whiny, cranky, very needy, wanting to be held, like refusing to walk, just being like, you can tell he just didn't feel well. So then he came home, Dale sort of nursed him for a while, was just kind of keeping him fluids and just pushing Tylenol and Motrin as needed for his fever. And then the next day he woke up, seemed to be in a little bit better mood. He ate breakfast well, and that was like the first meal he had in like a day and a half. And then we thought he turned a corner, and then he spiked to fever again, and it's now Saturday, so he's been...
And then just when he starts feeling better, he falls on a toy and...
Oh, yeah.
Got a cut on his eyelid.
Today is the first day that he hasn't had a fever, like, all day long. So, yesterday he didn't all day, and then he spiked again around, like, 2 in the morning. So he's been really...
It's been fun.
Rough. It's been a weird weekend. We've had a lot happening.
It's been a fun one.
Yeah.
Lots of sleep happening.
Yeah.
No.
And I worked today, which is like really odd for me to work on a Saturday.
Weekend.
So, it's just been really weird. And I went out with a couple of girls last night. So, it's not usually a Friday night routine. So this whole week has been very strange for us.
Odd
so
one.
So we are looking forward to a fresh start.
That's why I needed a whiskey drink.
For real.
Needed it.
You also gonna have a vodka drink?
I might. You want to keep going with that?
Lager drink?
Oh, I should have brought
cider
a lager
drink.
over.
That's the other one.
I should have brought a lager over, but I
could have.
I brought Miller Lite. That's my backup drink.
Are you gonna sing the songs that remind you of the good times?
I might, and the songs that remind me of the bad times. All right, let's get into this.
I thought it was better time. I thought you said better times.
I don't know.
Oh shit.
I have no idea.
I don't know. Fuck. What the fuck is the name of that song?
I don't know. Are we looking this up right now?
I am.
Okay.
God, I'm listening to you though.
Well, no. So while you're looking that up, I've been saying...
It is better times.
It is better times? Okay.
Yep.
So wait, before we jump into this topic...
Tub thumping.
Tub thumping. There you go. Good
Chumbawamba.
one. Chumbawamba, yeah. There you go.
Best album art of all time.
Yeah.
The baby with the big teeth.
Yeah. So wait, I've been asking. I told you forever that. Well,
if you don't ask me about the motherfucking pizza rolls, I'm gonna beat you.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm asking you about.
So every time we're done recording, he's like, "Oh, I forgot to ask you about the pizza rolls." So for weeks now, he has been hinting that he needs to ask me something about pizza rolls, and it's been driving us crazy. So I need to know right now.
The question about pizza rolls.
Yes.
Is there an ideal temperature to actually eat a pizza roll at, or do you just bite into that bitch and just your way through it?
What do you mean ideal temperature? I mean, there's an ideal way to do it that you don't fucking burn your face off.
I feel like I either absolutely destroy the inside of my mouth like I just drank lava, or it's ice cold. I have never had a pizza roll at a reasonable temperature.
So I feel like it's worse if you try to like bite it rather than just popping the whole thing in, and it shoots it like
in the lip.
If it like drips down this part of your mouth, like near like the corner of your mouth into your chin,
game over.
That shit, dude, it like brings tears to my eyes. It's the worst.
Lava cheese.
But I mean, I think I usually will just sit it there and like let it cool for I don't know, a couple of minutes, and then I just pop them in. Like the whole thing. But I also like everything piping hot. I need my tea to be like almost burning. Like it has to be almost uncomfortable for me to like thoroughly enjoy my tea.
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
And like food, if it comes out and it's not all the way hot, or like something gets delayed where we're like not eating yet, I have to microwave it. I have to. I cannot eat food that's supposed to be hot, cold.
See, I'm used to eating lukewarm food.
Oh God, I hate it.
I'm just used to it.
What do you mean? What, since having kids or just
No,
in
just
general?
in general, always.
No.
Yeah, always.
No, I like it like piping hot.
No,
Like,
yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like,
I'd
I mean,
have to.
coffee, you know that. Like, I have to wait for my coffee to cool down.
No.
I have to, yeah, I don't know. Not like cold. Like, I don't like it cold, but I definitely don't like it
You like it
piping
like
hot.
tap warm.
No, it's warmer than that. It's
I
warmer
don't
than
think it
that.
is.
But it's definitely.
There's definitely not steam coming off of it anymore.
Oh, bullshit. Yes, there is.
Bullshit. There is no way.
Bullshit.
No way. I'm looking tomorrow morning when you have
Okay.
your coffee. I
You
guarantee.
look. Good thing it's
there's
going to
no
be like
steam.
27 degrees out tomorrow morning. There'll be steam coming off
It's
that
gonna be
bitch.
53 tomorrow.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, something's wrong with my watch. It's going down to 23 tonight. Is what this is saying? I don't know.
It snowed earlier today.
I'm sleeping outside.
Teeny tiny little baby flurries.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get.
You know where it's not snowing?
Where?
Los Angeles.
Yeah, you're right. But there's a lot of other weird shit going on. So,
Other shit happening in the sky.
All right. So grab your drink and let's get into this. So on not November.
I'm sorry, what now?
Yeah, on November. No, wrong. Let's try this again. Take two.
Do you want me to read?
It's the lack of sleep. I'm going to blame it on that. Anyway.
Sure.
On February 24th, 1942, the Office of Naval Intelligence issued a warning that an attack on mainland California could be expected within the next 10 hours. After hours of alarms and alerts being initiated and lifted, an air raid siren sounded at 2:25 a.m. on February 25th, which initiated the citywide defensive maneuver of a blackout. A strange aircraft appeared over Los Angeles. At 3:16 a.m., the 37th Coast Artillery Brigade opened fire with 50 caliber machine guns and 12.8-pound anti-aircraft shells. The pilots of the 4th Interceptor Command were also alerted and standing by for attack orders. After over 1,400 anti-aircraft shells and thousands of machine gun rounds were fired for close to an hour, the all-clear was sounded. After the smoke settled, there were no downed aircraft reported. There was no damage in the city from an attack, and the only damage that was discovered was from the anti-aircraft shells hitting buildings with fallen flak. So this is known
like a fucking hologram?
The Battle of Los Angeles.
Is it really a battle though if there's like nothing else there?
So, well, it was a battle for someone.
Your reading of that reminded me of like the intro to a video game where like you're getting your assignment.
That's the point. That's the point.
The background information is like, here's where you're important.
This is all of the background.
And
Suit up. Hit X to proceed now.
Just like every bit of it was like when you run up and you go to a little yellow circle and you meet your fucking.
And then there's you stuck on the wall.
I hate fucking first person video games.
I know you do.
Give me Sonic and Pac-Man and fucking Frogger.
Fucking love first person.
I hate it. I can't do it. Also, when it's like a split screen, I'm always looking at the wrong fucking screen.
You're that guy.
Yeah, always. Yeah. You're stuck on a wall. I'm like, bullshit, that's me. You're like, that's fucking
bullshit,
me.
I'm kicking ass.
Like, take that, motherfucker. Just hanging out.
I think my controller's on cruise control. I'm not even hitting buttons.
Dude, it's not for me. It's okay. You play your video games, I'll read my book.
I am not a video game person. You know that.
Well, no, but you're better at it than I am.
Well, that's really not saying much.
I don't think this is on.
What, the heater?
Yeah.
Is it blowing hot air?
No.
Not on. Not on then.
It was
turned not
all
on.
well, no, it was switched on, but the dial was turned all the way down to 1.
Gotcha. So it wasn't on.
You can fuck right off.
All right. So to understand this Battle of Los Angeles, you kind of need to understand what the worldwide climate was at the time. So 1942, what was going on? World War II.
I know. I was trying to think of a smart ass thing to say, but I got nothing.
So this event happened during the U.S. involvement in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, introduction to our snack. You're eating a Snickers from probably 2 Christmases ago.
No, it's from this Christmas.
You sure?
Uh-huh.
Not last Christmas? Your favorite jam?
That's not my least favorite.
I know, I'm kidding. So, it was during the U.S. involvement in World War II. December 7th, 1941, so a few months beforehand, is when Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, which was 3 months prior. The next day after that is when the U.S. obviously announced that they were entering World War II. So, since that point, paranoia spread across the United States, but predominantly on the West Coast because they had the most direct access. Yeah, and they're kind of in the direct line of fire of Japan. So there were thoughts that Japanese submarines and aircraft carriers were cruising off the coast of California, and specifically in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay.
So much so that Oakland actually closed its schools and issued a blackout and radio silence. Seattle imposed blackouts of all buildings and vehicles, and if someone accidentally left a light on, like it was so serious that if somebody accidentally left a light on in their house or in their car, neighbors would like go out, bust their window, break in, break the light bulb, and leave. So people were obviously freaking out about this. Residents of Alaska were told to cover their windows for a nightly blackout. And 500 U.S. Army troops moved into Walt Disney Studios' lot in Burbank, California, to defend the Hollywood facility and the local factories from sabotage and air attacks.
I feel like there are more important things than fucking Disney Studios.
I would agree with that.
But, you know.
But
priorities.
Walter. Then... So during all this hype and fear about Japan, on February 19th, so only a few days before this Battle of Los Angeles, Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066, which essentially created Japanese American incarceration camps. The order authorized the evacuation of all persons deemed a threat to national security from the West Coast to relocation centers further inland. So the threat at that point was obviously Japanese.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Japanese Americans were basically put in concentration camps. The day before the Battle of Los Angeles, so February 23rd, the city of Elwood, California, which was close to Santa Barbara, was attacked by Japanese submarines, and this was known as the Bombardment of Elwood. So during that attack, they sank 2 different merchant ships, damaged 6 more, and they also fought with U.S. Navy aid and sea forces twice in that area. So I guess they kind of had the submarine pinned down, and there was some shots fired back and forth. And then the U.S. started mobilizing for the war, and they installed anti-aircraft guns all over the place on East Coast and West Coast. They built bunkers, and air raid precautions were drilled into the citizens' minds. So they were teaching people air raid drills and things like that in schools and all over the place. Get under your desk.
Hide under the desk.
That's gonna really, really help.
Well, it was the false sense of security of, hey, we have a plan in place to keep the mass hysteria.
Exactly. So mass hysteria is something that we'll talk about here. Mm-hmm. But so that's kind of what was going on in the world at this point. The U.S. was on high alert, obviously.
When are we not?
Right.
I don't think we've ever not been on high alert since.
Right.
We kind of fucking jumped the gun on, like, literally anything now.
Yeah, I would agree. So the Elwood attack really put everyone in that vicinity obviously on high alert, because from what I found, the Navy did not sink that submarine that attacked.
Okay.
So it was still out there. And there was no real. Japan was obviously kind of innovative at the time, because, I mean, they came up with the idea of how to drop torpedoes from planes
Yeah.
to sink the ships in Pearl Harbor. And there was a whole big fear. I feel like the fear was always kind of Russian tech. But this one was, they were nervous what Japan had, because they really didn't know much.
I was going to say, I think it was just more the fear of the unknown. Like,
Yeah.
they felt a little bit better prepared for
Right.
the Russian
Right.
level of technology. I just think they were like, oh shit, these guys weren't even on our radar.
Right.
Now what?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, the attack. This is where this gets pretty interesting. So I gave you the summary on it, but I'm going to read this next section here. And this is the actual official release from the U.S. Air Force.
So it's a load of bullshit.
Yeah, this is the, quote, official release.
Well, yeah, because whatever they put on paper is going to be as non-damning as possible. So, all right, hit me.
All right. So,
Hold on, let me take a sip because I feel like I need to prep for this.
Yeah.
Also, I really fucking like this drink.
well, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm liking it as well.
It's really good. I think the between the simple syrup and the lemon, it balances out some of the bite of the was it rye whiskey?
Yes. Rye
And vermouth,
whiskey,
right?
rye whiskey. Isn't that a song?
I don't know.
I feel like it is.
Probably not one I would ever voluntarily listen
country.
to.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
I'm pretty sure it's a
That
song.
sounds like a 99 bottles of beer on the wall.
Yeah,
It just sounds like some
probably.
shit that like some drunken dumbasses sing.
I
The
would
only
think
good
so.
one is the oh my god, there's an Irish one. It's fucking hysterical. And it's like that there's a hole in the bucket. Like every
Oh, yeah,
line
yeah,
like goes
yeah.
into something else and then it like keeps coming back around.
Yup.
And it's like a fucking party
I've
trick
heard
to be
that,
able to
yeah.
sing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny.
It is pretty funny.
I forget what it is. I'll have to see if I can find it and include it because you guys would get a kick out of it too.
Yeah. Okay. So the official release. Are you looking something up for that, or you just put a note
I
in?
was looking to see if I can figure out what that is and then put a note in. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the official release states, during the night of 24/25 February 1942, unidentified objects caused a succession of alerts in Southern California. On the 24th, a warning issued by Naval Intelligence indicated that an attack could be expected within the next 10 hours. That evening, many flares and blinking lights were reported from the vicinity of defense plants. An alert called at 19:18, which is 7:18 p.m., was lifted at 22:23, and the tension temporarily relaxed. But early in the morning of the 25th, renewed activity began. Radars picked up an unidentified target 120 miles west of Los Angeles. Anti-aircraft batteries were alerted at 2:15 and were put on green alert, which is ready to fire. A few minutes later, the AAF kept its pursuit planes on the ground, preferring to await indications of the scale and direction of any attack before committing its limited fighter force, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Radars tracked the approaching target to within a few miles of the coast, and at 0221, the regional controller ordered a blackout. So the blackout defense it was more difficult for any enemy coming in to target.
The target. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. If they can't see you, they're going to have a
Right.
harder time shooting you.
Right. Therefore, the information center was flooded with reports of, quote, enemy planes, even though the mysterious object tracked in from sea seems to have vanished. At 0243, planes were reported near Long Beach, and a few minutes later, a Coast Artillery colonel spotted about 25 planes at 12,000 feet over Los Angeles. At 0306, a balloon carrying a red flare was seen over Santa Monica, and 4 batteries of anti-aircraft artillery opened fire, whereupon the air over Los Angeles, quote, erupted like a volcano. From this point on, reports were hopelessly at variance. So
Jesus.
that's the report of the
That's the
actual
official
what happened.
report of what happened.
Yeah. So later on in that report, they continue with, quote, probably much of the confusion came from the fact that anti-aircraft shell bursts caught by the searchlights were themselves mistaken for enemy planes. So this is where I start thinking this is all a cover-up for something.
Oh, absolutely.
In any case, the next 3 hours produced some of the most imaginative reporting of the war. Quote, swarms of planes, or sometimes balloons, of all possible sizes, numbering from 1 to several hundred, traveling at altitudes which ranged from a few thousand feet to more than 20,000, and flying at speeds which were said to have varied from very slow to over 200 miles per hour, were observed to parade across the skies. These mysterious forces dropped
It's not the
no...
fucking Macy's Thanksgiving Day
I
parade.
know, right?
Like,
These mysterious forces dropped no bombs, and despite the fact that 1,440 rounds of anti-aircraft ammunition were directed against them, suffered no losses. There were reports, to be sure, that 4 enemy planes had been shot down, and one was supposed to have landed in flames at a Hollywood intersection. Residents in a 40-mile arc along the coast watched from hills or rooftops as the play of guns and searchlights provided the first real drama of the war for citizens of the mainland. The dawn, which ended the shooting and the fantasy. So, it seems like the first half of what I just read was very much... seemed factual. It was a timeline of what happened.
yeah, I mean, there was definitely like timestamps. There's like
Yeah.
a legitimate progression of events.
Right. So it was a timeline of what happened.
And then it all just sort of went out the
And
the
then
fucking
it
window.
seems like they just came to the conclusion of this was people's imagination.
Everybody cray cray.
Yeah. So, listen,
People are crazy.
People are crazy. But the fear that was probably going on over there at the time,
Oh, yeah.
across the U.S. at the time, was... I mean, it was outrageous. I couldn't think... I couldn't imagine that, really. I mean... So, maybe they... With the varying reports of, like this guy said, there was 1 balloon. No, there was 25 planes. That's a little different.
Yeah.
If it was like a group of, okay, somebody says 25 planes, another person says, no, it was 15 planes, okay, maybe they were just bad at estimating numbers.
They're close-ish. I'm bad at estimating numbers.
Right. But...
Like, I don't know. That's like 5 feet away. It's like a fucking football field.
Yeah. But they definitely just chalked this up almost like... I don't know. It almost sounded like they were just making fun of it towards the end, which I thought was a little weird.
Yeah, I get the vibe that they're trying to play it off like a hoax.
Yeah. Yeah, just the whole city's crazy. Mm-hmm. The whole coastline's crazy, essentially. Which, hey, maybe they are.
Out that way.
But...
A little bit.
Yeah. So that's the official report. So, just a side note here. I mean, this has kind of showed up in pop culture many times, and there is a movie called Battle Los Angeles. There's actually 2 real ones. There's one in 1941. The movie is called 1941.
Oh, I was like, that's weird because it didn't even happen yet.
Yeah, it's from 1979. It's a Steven Spielberg movie called 1941. Rotten Tomatoes, 44%. Audience, 48%. But that was a comedy film, and Dan Aykroyd was in that. John Belushi, John Candy, Mickey Rourke. It's actually I saw the cast and I was like, you know what? Maybe this is like one of them stupid funny movies. So I would actually watch
Like a
that.
satire.
Yeah, I would actually watch that.
But I find it weird that it's called 1941 if the time frame in question is
It was based on
February
the
of
Battle of
42.
L.A. So yeah, I don't. It was the beginning of 42 that it happened. So I don't know. Maybe they go in the movie. Maybe it's like the time frame like between Pearl Harbor
like
and
the
that.
lead up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there is the movie called The Battle of Los Angeles. And if you're trying to look up information and you actually like if you just type in The Battle of Los Angeles, you're gonna get the movie.
The movie. Mm-hmm.
So you do have to dig a little deep for it. That was a movie in 2011. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 37%. Audience gave it 48%. I actually liked the movie. I'm an idiot though when it comes to movies, but I liked it.
And TV shows.
Plus my
you
girl.
only ever like things that get canceled.
My girl and my dude were in it.
None of that is helpful.
Michelle Rodriguez, who I love. I don't care what anybody says. I love Michelle Rodriguez. And my boy Michael Pena was in it.
Oh, I do love him.
Neo was in it too, by the way.
Neo,
like the rapper, the singer.
Oh, and my brain went to Keanu Reeves. I was like, why are we calling him Neo?
No, the rapper. Is he rapper? Is he a
No,
singer?
he's not a rapper.
Yeah. I liked that movie though. I thought it was kind of cool.
I feel like maybe I've seen it.
You've probably seen parts of it. I've watched it a couple times. I watch all that stupid shit.
You would.
That's a movie that like I watch once. And I'm like, oh, this would be a good movie just to put on as like sound in the background.
That's a very odd thing to say.
Why?
Because that's not my type of background noise.
What, explosions and aliens and shit isn't your background noise?
Is it Aliens? Is that the movie?
Yeah, I think it's either aliens or it's like it's alien based. It's like it might be like robot aliens or something. I don't fucking know. I forget, but yeah. Spoiler alert.
I forgot about your
It was
obsession
aliens.
with Michelle Rodriguez.
Love her. So when she popped up when we watched the first Avatar movie with Casey, I was like, oh, I forgot she was in that.
She's like the best part.
I know. I love when she wears
She's
the
a
fucking makeup and
badass,
shit. Yeah,
dude.
she shows up in the big fight.
I love her.
Yeah, she's
the
awesome.
best.
She's awesome. Yeah.
She would fuck you up, dude.
Yeah, she would. That might be part of the reason I like her.
You do have a thing for that.
I know. I don't get it.
Michelle Rodriguez, Pink.
Yeah. Ronda Rousey.
You like her?
Yeah.
She's kind of got like Renee Zellweger face. She's a little squinty.
She is a little squinty,
a little
but
mousy.
I feel like that's only when
Don't
she's...
fucking tell her I said that.
Yeah, right? She'll fuck you up. No, I feel like that's
I'm
only
sorry.
when she's, like, posing for something.
No, she's
I never
always
thought
like that.
she seemed... Like, I only thought that... whatever. I like her, too, though. Okay, so... This whole...
You like to be scared a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit. Keep me on edge just a little bit. All right, so this whole thing is weird. Oh, shit, what did I just do? The whole... this whole, quote, battle, which, like you said, there's really not much of a
Hi,
battle.
welcome to our show.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's weird.
That's
True.
the point.
Very strange.
That's the point.
But-
It's also very strange that we both like a drink. Like I feel like we've been finding more that we like.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
Which is nice because usually we both are like, I would never fucking drink what you drink.
I
and
would drink this on a summer day for sure.
A summer day?
Yeah.
I feel like this could go, like, I feel like this is not as seasonally specific as some of the others. This could be.
I feel like you could even cinnamon this up a little bit and make it more of a fall
so
drink.
I'm getting, I wonder if you were to do, like, a splash of Fireball in it, too, instead of just rye whiskey. Like, if you were to do a little bit of.
I give this a
cinnamon.
8.3 out of 10.
8.3?
Yeah.
One sip. Everyone knows the rules.
Yeah. Oh, God. All right.
That's Barstool Sports. Is that what that is?
Yeah. What's his name? Dave Portnoy?
That's the one.
Yeah. All right, so some weird shit that happened with this.
Because it wasn't weird yet.
Right. But the strangest thing...
But it's going to be.
Right. The strangest thing to me is that there's no damage to any buildings except for basically the friendly fire of the flak and shit falling onto the buildings. Which I think that's weird. It probably would have been even more weird if they were like, they did shoot something down. And they were like...
Well, no, because If they did, they would have a reason for it. Now it's just all their own shit, ruining everything around them. Like, oh, sorry.
So, there's this group called the Majestic 12. And
Sounds like a George Clooney movie.
yeah, right. Ocean's 11, Majestic 12. This claims to be the code name of an alleged secret committee of scientists, military leaders, and government officials. So it's like the fucking Skull and Crossbones Society, basically. But it was formed in 1947 by an executive order by President Harry Truman, supposedly. The purpose was to recover and investigate alien spacecraft. So these are like the fucking Men in Black.
Do they have the little pen?
Maybe the
That's
little...
all I really want is the pen.
Yeah.
And the fucking tiny little cricket gun.
Yeah, dude, the cricket's the shit.
Fuck the rest of them.
The cricket's
the cricket.
awesome. That's awesome. Oh, we got a crying child.
Oh, shit.
We have a crying child. Let's take a break. Take a quick break. We'll be back with the Majestic 12. We'll be back. All right, we're back.
Hello.
Sorry about that. This is what happens when you wait to record until your kids go to bed and one of your kids is sick. These are the types of breaks that we take. He was fine, in case you were wondering. Settled himself down.
But if we recorded when they weren't asleep, it would be so much worse.
Oh, God, yeah. Be getting smacked in the knees with hammers and...
What are you doing? What's this? What's that?
Yeah. It'd be fun. Okay, so we were talking about the Majestic 12. So this group, essentially the Men in Black, with their little... What is that thing? What's the pen thing called?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So I'm telling you about the group because supposedly this group got their hands on locked top secret files, which I forget which episode we talked about that. There was like files just sitting in a warehouse somewhere. But it sounds like that's what happened. It was
here. The ham sandwich. The fucking birds aren't real. They left John in the fucking IHOP.
Fucking John.
Or Waffle. Was it IHOP?
Waffle House? Waffle House, yeah.
Because he was peeing too much?
Yeah.
Poor guy's got a fucking prostate issues,
right?
And they're just like, fuck that guy.
Shout out to that episode.
I forgot about just the pallets of paperwork.
Yeah. Just freaking forklift them right into a warehouse. So they supposedly got their hands on these top secret locked documents that were regarding the Battle of Los Angeles. Now, all of the documents that they supposedly got their hands on are on a website called majesticdocuments.com.
Clever.
Seems official to me. Seems
totally
very official.
Legit.
Yeah. But the one thing that they got their hands on is called, and well, it's not called, but it is referred to as the Marshall Roosevelt Memo. So George Marshall was the former Secretary of Defense and at the time was the current Secretary of Staff. Side note, he was born in Uniontown, Pennsylvania.
Where the hell is Uniontown, Pennsylvania?
Southwest Pennsylvania. It's south of Pittsburgh.
So like 6 hours from us?
Something like that.
Okay.
And then Franklin Roosevelt, 32nd President of the U.S., and he was in office right in the middle of this from March 1933 until April 1945. So on March 5th, 1942, George Marshall writes a top-secret memo to the president, which stated a whole bunch of shit, but the important thing we are going to talk about is, quote, regarding the air raid over Los Angeles, it was learned by Army G2 that Rear Admiral Anderson recovered an unidentified airplane off the coast of California with no bearing on conventional explanation. This headquarters has come to the determination that the mysterious airplanes are in fact not earthly, and according to secret intelligence sources, They are in all probability of interplanetary origin. Then he goes on to say, as a consequence, I have issued orders to Army G2 that a special intelligence unit be created to further investigate the phenomenon and report any significant connection between recent incidents and those collected by the Director of Office of Coordinator of Information. So the memo has correct Office of the Chief of Staff seal on it and file numbers. And it has interplanetary phenomenon unit typed on it at a later time by a different typewriter. So it's basically saying that like this sets the stone for this interplanetary phenomenon unit.
So this unit didn't exist prior to this piece of
correct. This
documentation?
set it up. Maybe there was other ones that studied stuff, but this one was set up at this point. Which there's, if the document's real, I mean he's basically saying that what they saw was a spacecraft of some sort, which is pretty wild. So the theories on what?
No.
The theories, obviously.
Not a single thought in my empty brain.
The theories on this are obviously, first one, it was what? A UFO.
An alien.
It was a UFO, yeah. Well, it was a UFO, it's an unidentified flying
Right,
object.
but
the theory is that it was,
Yeah.
was alien. So I'm going to share on the screen here a photo that was published in the LA Times on February 26th, so the day after the whole thing. And this is regularly featured. Yeah, I mean, this is legitimate. It was regularly featured in UFO conspiracy theories, and it's something that is very common.
I love how you say legitimate. Like, it's as legitimate as anything that has the government fucking in it.
No, I know,
possibly
but what's interesting about this is it's a alien conspiracy theorists use this as like definitive proof that there was a picture taken on that
Of the
night
UFO.
of the UFO and these searchlights looking at it, and it was published in the Los Angeles Times. Like it wasn't like some the Onion.
Wasn't the Onion.
Yeah, like it was a legitimate paper. So this is the photo I'm going to show you. Yeah. So that's the photo. And you can kind of see the shape. It is grainy. I mean, it's 1942. So the searchlights are all focused onto one object.
But, I mean, is that really an object, or is that just the convergence of all of those lights?
So that's what the argument is that they're saying it's just convergence of all lights.
But if that were the case, wouldn't it go through that spot?
You would think. Why would they all stop in one spot?
It's just odd to me that it's all white in that middle section there.
It would
where they all converge.
But that, if they are all hitting something, then that would be reflecting the light back, and it would show up brighter anyway.
I get it. I mean, if it's metal, yeah.
Even if it's not. If you're shining lights on something, you're illuminating that object on a black sky. Yeah, but you would
still see some level of something other than just pure white, I would think.
Probably not with a black and white photo.
Yeah. No, I think you would still see some type of, like, grayish or, like, some type of contrast.
In my opinion, you can see...
You do see like a clear outline.
Yes, you see an outline, and it looks like you almost can see a second part of the same object. Like it almost looks like.
So you see like an egg-shaped like oval white outline, and then at the top of that, there's like another smaller circular white light, and then there's like 4 or 5 other like little dots above that.
Right.
Outside of that specific shape.
In my opinion, they are focusing on something.
Oh, absolutely. And, I mean, for them to be that far away from each other and still converge on the exact same spot, they have to all be focusing on the same thing.
Right. So weird.
Okay. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I definitely think that if it was just the convergence of all of them and that was just the intersection of all the light beams, there would still be
There would be light continuing
light
on.
continuing
Yeah.
through. It wouldn't have like an end.
Because it doesn't even,
point.
like, the light doesn't taper off and then end at that point.
Right.
Like, they're pretty bright up
and that's
into
at
that
the
point.
widest point.
It's a hard
of its,
stop on the light.
Right. That's the widest point of its path too. It's not like it's a like you said. It's not like it's like fading out and it just didn't
Right.
reach any further.
Right.
Plus, if that were the case, they would all end probably at varying places depending
You would
on
think.
how, like, the angle. Because
Yeah.
they're not all, like, this one over here on the far right looks like it's further
Yeah.
from that point.
Right.
So the angle is a lot different than these ones who are, like, basically straight up from where we're sitting.
Right.
So if that were the case, then every beam's path would be a little bit different, and where it ends and starts to taper off would be a little different, you know?
Right. Yep.
Because it would, like, this is a longer beam of light
Yep.
than that
So it
because
would-
of the
right.
straighter
I see what
line
you're
and the
saying.
harsher angle.
Right.
So then if it were to taper off, it would be, like, this one would taper off more than the others, and that one's the brightest of the bunch. So
Right.
that
Yeah,
very
it's
kind
very
of goes out the
strange.
window.
It's
I
a
mean, with the
strange
exception of that
photo.
one in the back there, that one kind of
Which
seems
is
like it
obviously
is
pretty
kind
far
of
off. Yeah.
like tapering off on the end there and
Right.
fading a little bit. But, and again, I mean, we're seeing it one angle. We're seeing it from, you know, the one that's closest to us looks the brightest. And,
Right.
you know, technology back in 1942 is probably not as streamlined as what we're used to. But,
Right.
But even so, I mean, you can't really argue with that. Like, light is light. If it was a light beam, it would go through.
Right.
If there was nothing there.
And, well, so exactly, even if it was the convergence of multiple of these beams, for it to show up brighter like that, there would still have to be something there for the lights to be hitting.
Not necessarily, but it would, for it to be brighter, like, you know, if I shone a flashlight and you shone a flashlight, where they intersect, that one section would be brighter than either of our two beams, but they would still go through each other, and I think that's more of the problem that I have with it. It would still be brighter where they intersect.
Would it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, yeah, that's a strange one. So let us know what you think about that one, because that's a weird one. The photo was up, and it'll be on our Instagram and Facebook as well. So one of the other theories is that this was a kind of like a false flag event. And it was
Something
used,
orchestrated by the government.
Right. So it was kind of used to strike fear into U.S. citizens, to push people to be more okay with this signing of the Executive Order 9066, and these essentially Japanese concentration camps.
I mean, it definitely makes sense that they would try to push some sort of support.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they were already in the war, so they didn't need a flag to get into the war.
Yeah, but, I mean...
But to push an agenda...
Right. And to get the U.S., you know, citizen support on concentration camps, for shit's sake. Oh, my God.
So another theory, which is kind of one of the first ones that we mentioned, I feel like, was this could have very well just been jumpy Americans with their fingers on the trigger.
It could have been.
Freaking out about everything.
Yeah.
And as the one letter said, this was the first that many mainland people saw of the war.
Yeah.
So they were terrified of it. So there was a huge fear of a large attack coming from the West, and people's imaginations blew up when they were put in this stressful situation of like air raid drills and blackouts, and it became real for them that something could happen. So it could have just been their imagination that they maybe the lights did converge and they saw exactly that in the sky, and they're like, oh fuck, something's up there, shoot.
Right.
So, but the fact they did see something on radar.
I was just going to say that.
Every letter said there was something on radar that they saw.
Yeah, but I mean, it could have been, I don't know. Like, it could have not been an alien aircraft. And yes, they could. I mean, they would see. You'd see anything on radar.
It has to be big enough.
Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, you could see anything that's. You could see a fucking blimp. It could have been anything.
Right.
It could have been something, very domestic. And they just, like you said, somebody got a little jumpy. Then everybody else was like, oh shit, maybe they saw something I didn't. And then everybody panicked. It's
a giant seagull flying around out there.
It's a fucking...
Somebody with a giant... It was a seagull flying around with a big hoagie in its mouth.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But
yeah, I think... I don't know. I'm just, me. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I think...
So you mentioned a blimp. So that was one of the other theories.
Well, yeah, I mean, just because somebody mentioned balloon, I just was thinking it could have been a blimp.
So... When
were blimps invented?
I don't know the answer to that. But there is, and I'm gonna link. There is a 3.5-4 minute video of the actual news broadcast from the next morning.
Okay.
And they do say in there that some people thought it was a blimp.
Okay.
And because it moved basically from Santa Monica to Long Beach, and it was like 25 miles between the two, and it took over a half an hour for it to go 25 miles. So, that's...
I thought it was traveling over 200 miles an hour.
So, that's where it's weird. There's varying... Some people say it was barely moving. Some people say it was going ridiculously fast. So, there's a lot of confusion. And that's where the one letter says, from the one point on, it was just everywhere. Yeah,
from then on, it was just chaos.
Yeah.
And, I mean... I think we talked about this before. So, when you remember something, you're remembering the last time that you've remembered it. You're not remembering it as it actually happened.
Right.
So, by the time that people start talking to each other, they're like, oh, well, when I saw it, I saw this. And no, I saw that. And, and then, you're getting conflicting reports and you're getting everybody else's, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Everyone's got their hand in shit and no one has a pure situation anymore. So, human nature is fucking crazy, but
The other thing is, if it were a blimp and there was that much firepower shot at it, it would have gone down.
That's what I was just gonna say. It would have.
Yeah, it would have.
A blimp is a big balloon.
Yeah.
It would have come down.
Exactly.
That's the thing that I can't get over, is that nothing was recovered.
Yeah. So I mean, that's all the information I have on it. So, what do you think? I mean, given all the information, what do you think it could have been? Do you think it could have been?
I think it's probably more likely that it was a false flag.
Okay.
Especially having not recovered anything.
So here's the other thing, though. Did they actually not recover anything? Because that's what they said about Roswell too.
Yeah,
they didn't recover anything. So was there? I mean, if it was,
wasn't there a thing that said one fucking admiral found one plane or some shit?
Yep.
Also, how's one dude gonna find something? That's sus.
So, sus.
I don't fucking trust anybody. Military, government, or otherwise. I don't trust shit. It took a lot for me to get married, dude. I don't trust anybody.
So the letter, the Marshall Roosevelt memo, Marshall writes, the headquarters has come to the determination that the mysterious airplanes, plural, are in fact not earthly.
Right, but there was a part where they said that Rear Admiral...
Yes, Rear Admiral Anderson recovered an unidentified airplane off the coast of California with no bearing on its unconventional explanation. So...
What does that mean?
It wasn't your standard airplane. So the other thing is, if this was over the coast like that, they very well could... It was an hour of shooting. So, they could have shot something down that landed in the ocean and, was never seen again.
If they were shooting for that friggin' long, there's no way they didn't hit anything.
Right. Birds or something. Fake birds. I don't know.
Fake birds. Birds weren't fake by that point.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
I don't know.
They still had 20 more good years.
Maybe this was part of their extinction plan for birds. Maybe they were actually shooting down birds over Los Angeles.
Like, shit, we didn't recover anything else, but look at all these
But
fucking
look
birds.
at these. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
What?
To me, this
fucking JFK would have been just a little baby at this point.
To me, this
not a baby, but still.
Not to be a total conspiracy theorist, because a lot of the stuff that we talk about, like, I'm not necessarily a believer in it, but it has a lot of interesting aspects to it, which is why we do this podcast. Mm-hmm. But this kind of, it screams to me cover up.
Right. So that's why I'm thinking, like, false flag or, like you said, cover up. I think just the fact that, like, citizens have too many conflicting reports, but they have this official statement that they released that had all these very specific timestamps. Like, it seems to me like they were trying to give us enough information that we were like, oh, yeah, that's credible. Look, they have these timestamps. And then, like, enough to be like, okay, shit went a little weird.
Yeah.
And then basically discrediting the entire coastline of California and just being like, nah, everybody else is crazy. Yeah. This is what really happened. Like, it just seems like they're trying too hard.
Yeah. It does seem like had they shot something down, it would have been recovered by the government and they would have studied it.
Right.
So
or if it wasn't alien, it was them.
Anything.
Like you said, trying to justify the Japanese concentration camps and trying to gain some sympathy from the U.S. people and basically scare them into submission.
Even that, in my mind, and this is just like thinking logically, which I know a lot of people are not logical, but, and there was
Most
a lot
of the people in the government.
Yeah, there was a lot of hysteria going on at this point.
Well, yeah.
And fear. So maybe that fed into it. But I would think if there's that much ammunition and that many troops, somebody had to fire that first shot. And I feel like somewhere in the middle of shot number 1 and shot number 1,440, someone would have been like, what the fuck are we shooting at?
Right.
Why are we, like, I don't know where to aim.
If it wasn't a planned thing.
Right. So.
Right. And I think that my thought is that the majority of the Californians who said, oh, I saw this, I saw that, my guess is that they're all false memories.
Could be. Because,
like you said, they all had gone through these, like, simulations and trainings of, like, how to stay safe and get it underneath your desk.
That's true.
How many times did they watch videos or get reports that...
Yeah, that's true.
You know, here's a simulation, and they've got, like, 14 things flying over. Some might have seen blimps. Some might have seen airplanes. Some might have seen these slow attacks. Some might have seen these 200-mile-an-hour flybys. Yeah. Like, who's to say that they weren't pulling those pieces of information subconsciously?
Right.
And
that's true. That's
thinking that that's what was really happening because that was their experience. That's what they were looking for.
Right.
So that's what they found because they were looking for it.
That's a good point.
So that would be my thought. I'm leaning towards the false flag.
Okay.
More so than a cover-up.
Okay.
Because I think if something had gotten shot down, somebody, military or otherwise, would have seen it. Yeah. If that many people were alert to what was going on and the shooting was happening for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like it was just one shot and they could have, like, grabbed it quick and gotten out of there before people saw it. But if it's shooting for an hour, at that point, people are coming out like, what the fuck is going on? Like, people are alerted to it.
Right.
Somebody would have seen something go down.
But let me play devil's advocate here.
Okay.
Shooting was an hour long.
Right.
Everyone was focused on whatever they apparently saw in the sky. Uh-huh. What if they did shoot something down, but they shot it down in the first 10 minutes of all this fire?
Yeah.
And now everyone is still focusing on, no, there's something in the sky, but they realize on radar, no, they shot it down. This is where it went down, and they go pick it up. So
you're saying while everyone is
still focused
shooting
on,
for that hour,
right?
they've already been
They've
out
already
there and
recovered it,
trying
and
to
it's
recover
gone.
it.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's like, I mean, it's likely.
I do feel like this was a cover up of some sort. Only because it seems like the only thing this is missing for me is the term weather balloon. Because it seems like anytime something in the alien realm of like a UFO being shot down, and then conspiracy theorists are like, oh, it was alien recovery, it always seems like people are told, oh, it was a weather balloon.
So,
And this seems very much like that.
yeah.
Where they're like, oh no, it was nothing. There's nothing there.
So I'm wondering if, like, the weather balloon thing and that, like, term or that, like, go-to phrase happened more recently than this. Because I feel like, time frame wise, this is going to be one of the earlier
Yeah, so when
UFO
was...
sightings and reports. Because Roswell and Area 51, like, most of that was 60s, wasn't it?
Roswell Incident Centers on the recovery...
Like, when were the...
1947.
47.
So
Oh, okay.
it's pretty...
All right. I thought it was later than
I mean,
that.
this was earlier, but...
Right, but I thought it was even later still. I thought it was like 15.
Yeah, I mean, 47's pretty close. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know, maybe this drew so much attention, and like,
and then they were like, we need a better explanation for
Yeah.
this. See, that
I
was
don't
my
know.
thought, was like, maybe this was like the first big, like,
Right.
mainstream knowledge incident. And then
Yeah.
they were like, well, people aren't going to fucking buy it. We need a better
Right.
explanation for what that looked like to people.
Yeah.
So I guess weather balloon kind of fits the bill,
Yeah.
or like their narrative a little bit better.
Yeah. So my theory
Yeah.
is it was a cover up. That's
Okay.
what I'm gonna stick by, and
I just think that the timing is too coincidental for it to be a cover up versus a like a false justification for war.
yeah.
Because the
I
war
don't
was
know. I
already,
just feel like they didn't need justification. We got
for
attacked
war,
on
but
our own
for
soil.
right. But I think that there were probably more sympathizers, but for the concentration camp portion,
Right, because that's
I
kind of
don't
what we
think
were
that
fighting
the
in.
right. I think that
yeah.
you can't, like, the U.S. people were not going to be like, look, you can't fucking do the same thing that they're doing that you're pissed off at them about.
Right.
You can't now turn around and throw the Japanese in a
So
fucking
that's
concentration camp when we're literally attacking the Nazis for doing that to Jewish
Right.
people. Like, I don't think that you would have gotten as much support and sympathy from the United States citizens
Yeah.
on that front. I think
Yeah.
there would have been more people pissed off about that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think,
That is true.
especially if they were pushing the narrative that this was Japanese technology and
The only thing that, like,
I don't
again,
know.
is still kind of, and I totally understand what you're saying there, and I would agree with that, but like, they were attacked in Elwood, so like, why did they need to make it more of a thing and not have any casualties in this when, like, ships were blown up? There
Yeah.
was like an actual battle in Elwood.
that's a good point.
So that, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they just needed, it was LA. They needed
Maybe
more.
they needed more exposure. Maybe
Yeah.
Elwood was too small
Maybe. I don't know.
to garner the media attention. Like, getting something printed in the LA Times
Yeah.
is a hell of a lot.
Disney involved.
Right. Well,
No, I'm just saying, like,
no, I
big
get
names,
it. You needed
yeah.
they needed the big name support because it's not the same as technology and media is now. Like,
Right.
something happens in a tiny ass small town in Bumblefuck,
Right.
and everyone knows about it. But I didn't even know Elwood, California was a thing. To be honest, when you said it, I thought you mispronounced Englewood for a minute. So, I've never even heard of the town of Elwood. So maybe they just needed something a little bit more, like, with a little more oomph behind it,
Yeah.
But I don't know. If I even fucking thought for a second that I could understand how anyone in the government's mind works, like, I really don't think I could get my head that far up my ass to see things from their point of view. I really don't.
I'm trying to find who owned the LA Times at that time to see if there was any, like, if like Disney owned part of it or something like that. Like if there was anything behind that. I don't see anything in this quick search that I'm doing here. I would have to dig in a little bit deeper, I feel like, to figure out who actually owned it at that point. So that can be a follow-up for next episode. I'll try and figure out who owned the LA Times in 1942. Because I'd be interested to see if there's any sort of tie-in there with government or big names. But yeah, that is all I have. Appreciate you guys listening, sticking with us. We have a lot planned out.
Yeah.
We have pretty much all of our episodes planned out through to like the end of April at this point. But if you have any thoughts, ideas that you want to send over to us, we would love to hear from you. Remember, the link is in the link tree, which is in our description. You can email us. You can message us on Instagram, Facebook. You can text us, call us, whatever. We're available. So
I found the.
there you go. Who owned it?
So Harry Chandler was the president and general manager of Times Mirror Co., and he was the owner and publisher from 1935 until 1960. So it was handed down through the Chandler family, Otis Chandler being one of the biggies, but he was a descendant of Harry Chandler.
Okay. Wonder
Harry Chandler would have been during that time.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I wonder if they're involved anyway.
Probably.
All right.
Harry Chandler also died in 1944, so.
Did he? Or was it a cover-up?
Oh. Dun, dun, dun. He had 8 fucking kids. Jesus Christ. Don't you know what causes that by now, dude? Fucking 8 kids. I got 2 and I'm overwhelmed. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
8 fucking kids. 8 kids. What, like... Do they just watch themselves at that point? Like,
yeah,
they have
once
to.
you hit a point, I guess, that your oldest just starts watching the youngest. They kind of... They're self-sufficient at that point.
Like, do you even have to, like, push anymore by the 8th one? Like,
Just
they
kinda
seem
come
like they would just, like,
strolling on out.
slip and slide right out. Pew!
All right.
Oh, to not having 8 kids.
To not having 8 kids.
Holy fuck.
Good drink.
Very good drink.
Not having 8 kids. To shooting down blimps.
Or maybe not blimps.
Maybe aliens.
Maybe aliens. Maybe fucking nothing. And to not putting people in concentration camps.
Yes.
God damn.
Cheers to that. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank
We love
you.
you guys. We will see you on